Hey guys, Kev here, and I just got back from Blade Show. I got back around 6 o'clock and hung out with the family. Just put my kiddo down to sleep, and yeah. So I just wanted to do a quick video going over the experience, I guess, and showing some of the stuff I picked up. I didn't really buy much. I bought 2 things. I think it was 2, and then I got a couple cool things to bring back with me, which is nice for review, pass around, that kind of stuff. So first I just want to thank everybody that came to the show, that stopped by the Divo booth. Colin and I were there all 3 days, and we had an absolute blast. It was a lot of work because, you know, you're standing on your feet for 8 or 9 hours a day, talking to people. My voice is a little better now, but it was pretty much gone there for a day and a half. And yeah, just a lot of fun getting to meet everybody, people that I knew and didn't know. If, you know, anybody came up and said hi, thank you for that. We appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the support. It is very, very cool experience. We did pretty well with Divo. We brought 130 knives, I think, and we have like 20 left. So you guys cleaned us out, and we did sell a bunch of buzzes to Knife Center. So shout out to Knife Center. That definitely helped us out a bit to move the buzzes that we had. But you guys were eating up the pony stouts. That was the hit. I mean, we brought 50 ponies, and we might have 10. I don't even think we have 10 left. So it was pretty consistent that people were into the ponies. I was surprised we didn't sell more mashes. We brought 20 mashes, the blue and the black. We sold out of the blue ones in the middle of day 2. And we still, I think we ended up with like 4, maybe 5 of the black left. So we sold like 15, but I really expected those to just go because they seemed to have been very popular. You know, in person, people flicking knives, and they really like the pony. I think price point has a lot to do with it at shows. You know, they come up and they're like, $60 for this thing? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? And then they look at the mash, they're like, well, you know, not everybody realizes why it's $120. And then you get to the buzz and you're like, 280, you know, unless you're a knife guy. Well, I guess they're all knife guys, but unless you're like in the community and you're kind of, you know, the nuances of why. Like this, you know, the buzz and the mash, these look the same. They have the same materials, like steel blade, titanium handle. Why is this one $130 more, you know? And it's, you know, because it's a more premium build, materials-wise, and how it's constructed and everything. You guys know this. But, yeah, it was awesome. We had a great time. Shout out to Colin. He let me stay at his house the first night. Then we got a hotel together over the weekend. It's always good to spend time with Colin. I enjoy it very much. I don't know if I've ever told him this, but he really reminds me of my brother. And my brother lives in Holland now. He's got 2 kids, a wife, and we see each other, you know, maybe once or twice a year now. And it's great. Love my brother. But it's always cool to hang out with Colin because it's kind of just like hanging with my bro. So good times. Divo was great, and I got to see so many cool people. I'm not even going to start naming people, but you guys who watch the channel, you guys who support Divo, appreciate all of you. Other, you know, YouTubers, people from different knife companies and retailers and all types of shit. I went to a Kaiser dinner on Saturday night. Colin and I went to a Kaiser dinner. We have a design that we're doing with Kaiser. We had them do prototypes for a button lock mash. Which we got the prototypes and they came out really good. There's some things we need to change, but they got it, right? Like, it's going to be good. And we ultimately decided, like, hey, why don't we just license this? See if Kaiser wants to take it as a Kaiser knife because we have a lot going on, and that might get it out quicker. And, you know, they do button locks. It just kind of made sense. And Blue Creek, you know, shout out to Brian wearing the Knife Nerd shirt. He closed down his shop, so the MASH is no longer an exclusive. So we have a little more freedom with it. And we just reached out to Kaiser and we're like, hey, you did the protos, are great. Like, you guys want to license this thing? And we signed an agreement. So, they're great, man. We sat down multiple times with them. Shout out to Damon, their product supervisor, and Pin, and Neo, and Azo, and Crazy K, of course. If I missed anybody, so sorry, but like, they all were interested in the design, and we were talking about the prototypes, and they wanted our input on this and that, and it was just really cool to go through that experience, because it's a lot different than when Colin and I do stuff. You know, we kind of just bounce back and forth, and we just go from there, right? And Colin does a lot of the design stuff, and then, you know, so it's just it's very cool. So I enjoyed that, and we went to some dinner they had, and there was a bunch of designers there. Justin Lundquist, Sharif was there. I got to meet Munko Knives. I believe it's Paul Munko. There's other guys who had like just got their design in with them. They had prototypes at the show. Yeah, big shout out to Mattisfaction. All right, Matty has a prototype. He was at the Kaiser table called the Phoenix, named after his son, by the way. I thought it was the city, so I gave him shit. I was like, you're going to run out of names real quick. But he's like, no, I named it after my son. I was like, oh, shit. Very interesting. It's not my style, but it's very cool and well done. And it has Mars Valley Fat Carbon. And I don't know when they're doing it. I don't think he knows or anything. But I just want to give him a shout out, because it was just cool to see that, you know, they're working with a lot of people. And Maddie's a great dude. So anyway, that was fun. Friday night, we had dinner with Kevin from Knife Nerdery at the pit, and then we kind of just hung out at the pit, and then we just went back to the hotel. I mean, by the time we got back, it was really late. That happens all the time. But Kevin is an absolutely fantastic human being. I enjoy all of my interactions, social and now in person with him. Just fun talking knives with him, and just life in general. He's just a good guy, and I enjoyed that very much. And that goes for, you know, pretty much everybody I talk to at the show. And it's really fun, you know, to meet up with people that also are, you know, doing this as a, you know, a job. Like, this is a job for me. It's not my main job, but it is a job for me. And just talking shop and pitching ideas and bouncing shit off each other, it's just very, very fun. And you learn a shit ton. Like, you can learn a lot about what things you can do, you know, by just having these conversations. It's networking. Like, you don't just go to the show to sell stuff. Like, you go to the show to market your brand, right? Just get your name out there. You don't have to have something to sell. Just have a table and a presence, right? Maybe get some swag and hand that shit out instead, you know, and show off prototypes or whatever you want to do. And then just talking to people is so informative. Also, you know, having hands-on, having hundreds of people hands-on with your knives, you can tell what they like, what they don't like, what they struggle with, what they don't, right? And it just kind of like, we saw a lot of people gravitate towards our nip design, which is something we're doing very soon. A lot of people were into the Stout V2, and a lot of people were into the Lush. And then, of course, the Pony was, you know, but we got a lot of good feedback on stuff. And it's definitely going to help us going forward, deciding what to do first, not first, what maybe we just skip, what, you know, that kind of stuff. We also got in our prototypes. We met up with Dylan from Shank Knives, great dude. And he was dropping off prototypes left and right. He had like 4 prototypes on him he was giving out to people. So they're dialing up to do US OEM work, guys. And this is so fucking good. I'm so happy about it. And we got our prototypes for the US Growler, and it is fantastic. fantastic. Literally could not have asked for a better outcome on that. And we literally were like, what's the price? Let's do it. Like, we're doing it now. And he was saying turnaround he could do pretty quickly. So you might see those in the very near future. I'm really excited. We're going to do small 20-piece runs to start. But what I'm going to do is just do a flip over to desktop, and then I will show you the stuff that I picked up and the stuff that I have in for review from it. And I'll show you the growler if you guys want to see that. So we'll do that real quick. Thanks for listening to me ramble about the show. It was a pleasure. It always is. I'm always worn out. You know, I'm dead right now. And if you saw me during the show and maybe I wasn't on my game, just know that I was probably just really tired. I want to talk to everybody. I want to have all those interactions. But you know, I'm not always gonna know, you know. So last year I had a couple of people who were like, man, I came up and you looked off or something. I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been standing there for 8 hours, you know, jabbering. And so if that happened to you, I sincerely apologize, and I really hope to meet you again in the future. I try to make a good impression as much as possible, but you can't always win. So I love you guys. I'm going to hit the desktop, and yeah. All right, I'm back, and now we are checking out stuff. So let's start with the Divo stuff, just get it out of the way. You've seen pretty much all of this, but I'll show you a couple here. So this is it, guys. This is the US made, the legitimately US made growler prototype. This is from Shank Knives out of Idaho, and I got to see all of the process. He sent video and images as he was making the parts. It was very cool to see, and it made me very happy. As you guys, some of you may know, the hardships we've had trying to get here. We've really wanted to have a US made product for a while, and we've really been battling it, and I'm very happy with what we ultimately ended up with. So check this bad boy out. This is pretty much what we're gonna run with for the first batch. We're gonna do like 20-piece batches. I don't know the price yet. I'm hoping it'll be somewhere around 500. It might be more. It could be less. I don't have exact numbers yet, but hopefully those of you who are buying into US made knives will be good with that price. But check this out. We have contouring on the scales with some micro milling, and they transferred that micro milling over to the inlay, and you can barely tell that the material changes here. It is very, very well done. See if I can zoom in. I mean, it is impressive work, guys. We went with a screwless inlay, so this is glued in. Actually, I think it's some kind of double-sided tape, he said, that's like adhesive, that's very, very strong. They know what they're doing, but it is possible to get it out. So if anybody ever had inlays made or something, you might be able to make that work. This area right here usually ends up being a pain and a little bit sharp, and it's not. It's amazing. Let me zoom back out. So we did end up going with a milled clip because we just thought on a premium, expensive knife like this, we want to provide a premium experience, and a milled clip is important, I think, in that. There's a time and a place for everything, and we just think the milled clip makes sense here. We are going to thicken it up a little bit. It's good. It works great. I just think it maybe just a little bit thicker will be good. It taps now, but it just needs to be bent. It's not a big deal. But we do want to make it a little thicker too, which would be nice. And then we're going to add jimping from here all the way down. Instead of stopping it here, it'll be like our V2 where the jimping goes all the way. And the reason for that is when I grip this knife and choke up, I land literally right between here. So I'm not sure how we ended up with this, but it doesn't matter. We're going to change it. We originally asked for a belt satin on the prototype, and we did. One of the prototypes had a belt satin. He kind of was able to rough together 2 prototypes. This is the one that's good to go. The other one had like a, little bit of a marred clip and, just kind of pieced it together. But that one had the belt satin, and honestly, we think this looks fantastic. And it'll be good for using and all of that stuff. So it's sort of got like a working finish look. And then you have all the satin hardware, it's tie connector hardware. This is Magna Cut at 63 HRC. So very good steel at a good heat treat, and should be good to go. For the lefties, you guys know I love you. I'm one of you, obviously. We are thinking that we'll probably do a run. If the model is successful and everything, we'll do a batch with either a lefty clip or just try to see if they'll do a full lefty and do that. But first we have to see if it's viable, and there just wasn't a good way to do this reversible without like a big thing here. And then I remember talking it through, and there wasn't a way to do a filler tab that made sense, so it would just be, I'm good with reversible clips, obviously, but I just want to see a hole or the wire notches. I don't want to see a literal like cutout with nothing in it. That just doesn't work for me. So don't worry, we'll make sure that happens if all goes well. The D10 is money. We asked for strong, and it is perfect. The thumb flick is, you just have to kind of get used to it. You'll see there, I can miss it. There it is. It's just a second. You kind of have to learn it, I guess. I don't know. There it is. I was just being weird under the camera. The slow roll I can do pretty easily. But anyway, I'm going to reverse flick this, and I'm hoping most people are going to reverse flick this, and it does that extremely well. Very good detent, but it can be thumb flicked and all that goodness too. So that's the US Growler. Really excited about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Nice and thin. Just think about it, guys. US made, titanium, Magna Cut, camo carbon, thin, contoured. Okay, you don't get that a lot, so we're excited. All right, so that's that one. And then you guys have probably seen this, the V2 of the Stout. So this is the Stout V2. Very excited about this. We had a lot of people excited about it as well. We're going to run this guy, I believe, in Vanex. So we're doing it with Best Tech in Vanex steel. Because of that, it's going to be more expensive, obviously, with the milling and the fat carbon and everything, the hollow grind, the belt satin, Vanex. It's going to probably be somewhere around $375 on retail. But our goal is to do a pre-order for those of you who want to support the project early, help us fund it. And we're thinking we'll do that at $325. So that'll save you $50. Vanex steel at $325. I think that's pretty solid. You guys let me know. This one has a milled clip. So we upgraded a lot of stuff. It's contoured. It's thin. It's a little taller than the original. Has a deeper hollow grind. Has a belt satin. I think we're going to do the blue with the blue collar and maybe a stone wash as well. And we'll see if we can get some dealers to pick up some different versions. We're getting rid of this filler tab. It just doesn't look good. So what we're doing is we're prototyping it right now at Best Tech. We're going back to the wire clip slots, but, hear me out, but we're going to use this clip. So this clip will fit into the wire clip slots. So there's 2 screws will be gone. There'll be 1 screw down the middle, and that'll hold into the wire clip slot. And then the extra hardware kit, I'm assuming we'll do an extra hardware kit. If we don't, you'll still get what I'm about to say. We'll include a wire clip. So it'll come with the milled clip, and then you could add the wire clip if you prefer that. Then you could also use Lynch. You could use Rip's Garage Tech. It literally will take any clip at that point, which is pretty damn cool. So I'm really excited about that idea, and we're hoping you guys will like it as well. But this guy is absolute money, and we cannot wait to get going on this. So I'd love to hear your feedback on it. And if you guys want one, if you're ready to order one, we'd love to hear that so we know it's game time. So those are the two big things I would say that we kind of are taking away from Blade Show for Divo knives. We have a lot going on, don't you worry. But these two are very important. So that's Divo. I know some of you guys are like, this mother, I know. So here's what I bought. I bought two things. Yes, I bought this banger of a flashlight. This is from CWF. You guys know I love my micro click. I'll show you it because I had it in pocket the whole weekend until I bought this. So this is the Zer-blasted click in DLC. So it's a DLC finish that is Zer-blasted. Absolutely sexy. He also had it in a polish. So basically the way it works is he takes the, here's the card, titanium microclick, LED 219C 5000K. Here's all the info. Blade Show 2023. And basically what he did was he took a polished titanium flashlight, just like this one. This is the one I had. And he had it DLC'd. So then it had sort of a polished look. And then he also did ones that were blasted, I guess, and that's what this is. So it has a Zer-blast on it, and it's DLC finished. It's going to hold up really well as far as I'm concerned. Very cool light. You guys know I love me the micro click. I put it, I already, tuned it. I already got it to my 15 and 100 setting, and I put my Zircuti clip on it, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. Here's the OG polished tie one with the clip from this. Just had a matching clip on it, which I think this actually looks pretty good too. I'm gonna put the battery in, I guess. Probably need to charge one or both of these. So yep, absolutely love this light. Favorite light in the world. And I have two again, but hey, what are you going to do? So I picked this up. This was like $4.50 or something like that. He does, I think he told me he had some available. Not positive on that. If he meant for the show he still had some, or if he was saying I have some. So if you really want one of these, hit up Charles on Instagram, CWF, and ask him. Say, hey man, I'm looking for one of these. It is the best flashlight you can get, in my opinion. So that one's going right back in my pocket, and I'll put the other one away. The other thing I bought might be a surprise to some of you. This is from Arno Bernard Knives. You guys might know them. They are South African makers. This is the iMamba Flipper Bearing Snakeskin CF, and it is a banger. This is my favorite knife I saw at the show, and I had to get it. I went over there on day 2, right before the doors opened, and was looking around, and I saw this. And when I had one of these about a year or 2 ago, if you guys might remember, some of you, I actually had one of these, and I had a plain tie one that I bought from African Sporting Creations. You guys can see I've actually used this. I opened some boxes tonight when I got home. I had one from African Sporting Creations. Great retailer, by the way. Check them out. I had a full tie one, flipper, and the detent just, it was too light for me. I struggled with it. I really liked the knife. You can tell that in the video. You can go back and watch it. I'll try to link it if I remember. And I really liked the knife. I just struggled with the detent because I could fail it so easily, right? And so I actually reached out to them, and they were like, you can return it. So I did, and they fully refunded me, no problem, no questions asked. And I originally asked, like, hey, can I just get another one? Like, do you have one with a stronger detent I could get? Because I really like the knife. And they basically said, well, we set all the detents exactly the same. So they're going to be the same. And I since then saw a reel on Instagram where they show how they do the detents. And they have this like jig, this wood jig or something. And they screw the frame down to it. And then they literally just hand bend the lock bar. But they have, you know, they have like a line that they hit or something. I don't know. I don't know if they still do it that way. But I was kind of like, how do you know it's the same if you're doing it by hand, right? But that doesn't matter. So that happened. And when I got to the table yesterday at the show, I picked it up and I was like, oh, shit. Like, that's totally different. That is amazing. Then I went like this. And I went, oh, shit. I heard that click. Right? And my mind's going, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted it to be when I bought the first one. And the first time I wanted this snakeskin fat carbon, I didn't want to spend an extra $150, and I'm not sure they were in stock. So then I went, okay, it has this fuller, I remember. Oh, and I flicked it and I went, damn. And I said, you know what, man, I really want one of these now, but there's no way I'm going to be able to flick it lefty. It's a frame lock, so I just kind of put it in the hand, right? And I went, oh, shit. I can flick it lefty. This thing is an absolute banger, guys. So the guy remembered me. They both did. One of the brothers was there. It's the Arno Bernard brothers. And the guy from African Sporting Creations. I'm so sorry, dude. I can't remember your name. I don't know if it's Jim, and I could be so wrong. I'm sorry. They remembered me, and he said, we changed the detent. And I was like, you fucking remember me? This was like a year or so ago. And I didn't have my name on my badge. It just says Kevin from, Divo Knives. It didn't say like Lefty or anything, but they remembered me. It was weird. Awesome. And they said they took the feedback. And they changed their detent. They did something where they changed the detent hole, or I don't even know what they said because I was so busy just being in awe of the knife. And we'll do an in-depth review on this. But they changed shit to make the detent better. And then they used to use loose bearings. They now use skiffs. This knife is absolutely incredible, guys. If you don't know about them, I implore you to check them out. My video on this is going to be savagely named What the Sebenza Should Be, because this is what the Sebenza should be. To me, I want the Sebenza to be on bearings and have a sick detent, right? And this has that. It's so smooth and buttery, and yet, man, it's so good. I have a couple small nitpicks, nothing that really amounts to anything. As always, this is an absolute home run, and check them out, African Sporting Creations and Arno Bernard brothers. Highly recommend them. They listen to feedback, apparently, and that's very important in our community. So I picked this up. It was $560 at the table. Love it. Could not be happier. So I spent a G basically between the light and this, and I'm very happy with my purchases. This is a total departure from last year. Last year I bought 13 knives and probably spent $3,000, maybe more. And I literally got home and I sold 12 of them the next day. So I just didn't want to do that again. And I don't need all these production knives that I'm just going to sell. I don't know. Like, I love production knives. That came out wrong. I just meant, like, I just didn't need a bunch of knives. So I also had no time. Last year I walked around a lot because we really just had prototypes, and I wasn't being smart and staying at the booth or the table. And Colin kept telling me, like, this person came by and this person, and I kind of felt like I missed some stuff last year. So I made sure to stay at the booth 90% of the time this time, and I really enjoyed doing that. So anyway, that's the I'm on, but I'm going to shut up about that. Love it. Back in my pocket. So I left the lanyard on for like an hour. No, for like a day. I took it off when I got home. So then I'll just go in order of how I got this stuff. The first one is the Factor. So Brad, Screaming Pirate, messaged me, or I saw him when I got there, and he was like, yo, I got a knife for you. And I was like, what? Oh, he had a dinner. Thursday night he does a dinner, Brad, and he invited Colin and I, and we went, and that was awesome. We sat with Jared Ozier and Javi Garcia and some other folks, Triple Stripe Knives, and there was a Hank maker there, and Hank Shanks. Oh, shit. No, was that it? Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But it was awesome, and I'm hoping I can remember and connect with him because he was a really good dude. So, was it like Happy Hanks or... God damn it. Anyway, yeah, if I need somebody to tell me so I can hit him up because he was a cool dude. Anyway, we had dinner with him, and he's like, I got a knife for you. And I was like, what? He had this prototype, and I guess I was next on some list. I didn't know I was on a list, but maybe Brian Winters wanted me to check it out, so that's cool. So he brought this over to the booth. This is the Factor B3. So this is the batch 3. And there's some market improvements here and differences that I really like. So batch 1 was amazing. As you guys know, I loved my batch 1 Factor. I sold it eventually to my good buddy Preston because he really wanted one, and he couldn't find one for like, people were trying to charge like $425 and like $450, and I kind of had mine for almost a year at that point. It was like 9 months, and I don't know, I was kind of over it. I hate to say that, it's not how I mean it, but it's kind of how it was, you know. The way with the channel I review knives, it's just like constant. So constant new stuff. So the stuff I've had just doesn't get carried. And then I just sell it so I can get more stuff, right? So I sold it to him. And I do regret it a little bit because when I finally got to handle the batch 2s, I noticed real quick that the magnet strength seemed a lot weaker. A lot of people love the Factors, you know, and don't complain, but I've handled a few, even with the strong magnets, they feel weak. And the flipper tab thing doesn't really do much. So when I got to pick this up, I was like, man, I really hope he changed it back to the 2 magnet system in here. And I looked at it and I was like, shit, he didn't. And then I went to flick it and it felt fantastic. It really did. He did something because this feels very snappy. It's not quite B1 snap, but it is markedly better than the B2, and it feels damn close to perfect. It fires every time you put pressure on it, and it fires. Yes, if you go to the bottom of the hole, you can fail it. I mean, that's anything when you're 20 miles from the pivot. But yeah, it's very well done. And I'm very happy with it. And then the cool other thing is that you have full titanium now, so it's on both sides, which is awesome. You have it on both sides, and then you have this carbon fiber backspacer, and you could actually decide if you wanted the flipper tab or the backspacer. So you get rid of the flipper tab, which I really did like the flipper tab on the batch 1. But I think that it looks absolutely way better like this. And that clip is sexy too. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I kind of want to pick one up now. Has the ting and everything. Ah, man, I really want this. So we'll see what happens. And if I don't even know if the pre-orders are still open, to be honest. So I might not even be able to get one if I wanted to. But it's very cool, and it looks like a lefty clip, so that's very awesome as well. So that's the Factor. I got to freaking get one of those in while I was at the show, so that was cool. Let's flip that over. All right, couple other knives, but first, couple companies came by, and I bought a couple small things. So KPL, you guys know I love KPL. Ryan came by and we chatted a little bit. Shout out to them. You guys can always use my code Lefty10 over there at knifepivotlube.com. I have links in the description every time. You guys know the deal. And he gave me some more dry film I had before. I think I gave it away. So I really want to test this on fidgets, because I was talking to him and he said it's really good for that. Stuff that you want to lubricate but not have it get all greasy and like build up stuff. So I almost feel like slip joints, fidgets, stuff like that, it might be really good for. So I'm going to kind of mess around with this stuff a little more this time and get a good idea. And yeah, so I got that. Obi came by. They dropped off a couple of flashlights, which was very nice of them to do. One of them was the Arkfeld, and Colin really liked it. So I told Colin he could just keep it. And then they gave me an i3T EOS, and my daughter loves that flashlight because it's very similar to my MicroClicks. And she's ruined a button on one of these before, so I don't let her use my MicroClick anymore. I had to send it in to get fixed. Shout out to Charles. Great customer service. But I gave her one of those. She has like 9 flashlights, but whatever. And Obi, which is a part of Olight, it's like their own new website, obi.com. If you want to check it out, go check out the Olight Borzoi. Fantastic knife. But they have these cool patches. Keep calm and use your EDC gear. Obi, take a hike. I just think it's kind of funny. Cool patches. These are going to go into my giveaway bin. And then my buddy Ev over at Knife Ninja EDC asked me to pick him up some scales for the Voodoo. And Sean with Knoll Knives had some cool stuff. I mean, he had the Voodoos. He had some for sale. And then he had scales to sell. And the one I pre-ordered is the black camo carbon one. So I don't really think I want new scales. But Ev really wanted some. So he asked for Tiffany, or aka Brittany Blue, and or Miami Vice. And my buddy from Nocturne Knives, big shout out to you, he was kind enough to go over there and pick these up for me. So I tried to get over to the Knoll booth like 10 times. And every time I started getting over there, I would get stopped or I'd go to something else, and it just never happened. And I felt bad. Because anybody who had a table that came by my table or our table, I tried to like reciprocate. I just feel like that's a nice thing to do. And obviously I want to just hang out and check out their stuff. But yeah, so these are some Voodoo scales. And he had a new prototype there of a Warncliffe Raiden. I think he has a name for it. I was calling it the Raidu because it looks like a Voodoo blade on a Raiden handle. So the Raidu, but you know, whatever. And then the dudes from Crispy Donut Community came over. Really cool guys. I actually am very impressed with them, and yeah, they're just awesome guys, and I'm very glad I got to meet them in person and hang out a little bit. We chatted for a while, and it's Luke and Drew. 90% sure it's Luke and Drew. My mind is fried right now. But Drew and Luke, great dudes. And you guys may have seen the Salem on the channel. They have the original one, which was the, Hanson, I believe. And this is their newest model that I don't have a name of because they told me probably while they handed it to me and I forgot, and I'm so sorry. Hopefully I will have that information. I'll do a video on this and I'll get the name, but this is my favorite one so far. The Salem was really cool, but this just feels good in my hand, and the detent is dialed. This is a prototype, and I believe the other one I handled, the Salem, was a prototype, so for production I'm sure it'll be great, but the detent was very stiff, so it was great with the flipper, but the studs were like very tough to reverse flick, and this is like way better. You can flick the shit out of it. Thumb flick is great. Now you can fail the flipper tab if you try, right? But I mean, if you just flick it, it flicks. So I will take that trade-off. You know, they could just chop the flipper tab off at some point on these designs. Maybe they're really big flipper fans. But if you just chop that off, it would make it a lot easier to, you know, have that detent be perfect, right? But, you know, everybody's different, and it does work very well. So, not complaining, just, you know, my usual nitpicking. Dead centered Kubi OEM. Nice titanium frame, all stonewashed, really cool. And you got the sprinkles over here. And just like their other knives, they're going to do them in different configurations. So you're not going to only have sprinkle options. And it has this really cool spear point blade, you know. These are in S35. I don't know if that's just schmutz or is that's not rust. There's no way. And these actually are in S35. Usually Kubi does D2 for prototypes. But I guess they convinced them because they did like a bunch apparently. They got them to do S35, which is really cool. Hollow grind. I mean, dude, this thing is stupid thin right here. It's just really cool. They're fixing the jimping, they said, because it's like really, really razor sharp. It's almost like saw teeth on there. Is that a thing? Saw teeth? But they're getting that dialed in for production, and I really like this. So I don't know what to call it. Is it the Winston, maybe? Because the Winston-Salem? I don't know. I'm making shit up. But very cool. I really like it. And you will be seeing a review. And you will be seeing a pass around for this. So that is the Crispy Donut Community Knife. I don't know the name. The Winston placeholder. And the last one is very, very cool. Now, that was really cool. This is just something new. Like, I don't know this brand. Like, you know what I mean? It's that new. So, you guys might remember Kituo or Kitu. I did that one video on their knife. I forget was it the Telson or something like that? And I got it from White Mountain. I just asked, like, you know, can I check this thing out? Because I saw it on their website. And I did the videos, and I learned right before I made the thumbnail, I learned that Reich is the company making these. So I put that in the thumbnail, but I didn't mention it in the videos because I didn't know at the time. Turns out Kituo is the parent company of Reich, apparently. And there's these two dudes that I've been talking to on Instagram. Very cool guys. You have Danishwara Design, and you have Jin. I don't know if it's Danishwara and Jin Knives Company. DJKC, got it. And it's just Jin. I don't know if it's like Jin Knives or something like that, but it's David Jin and Felix Danishwara. Very, very cool dudes. I met them literally today. Yeah, it was today, I think. They came by and they were like, yo, we want to give you this prototype or sample or whatever of our knife. And I was like, sweet. So they gave me one of these, and I told them immediately, I was like, I'm going to pass that around because, you know, you're giving it to me, and that's very nice. Here's another design they have, which is pretty damn dope. That one's coming out later this month, I think they said, or year, I can't remember. And they said they'd send me one of those too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so you can see here, the Griffin is designed by David Jin. And then the Triad is designed by Danishwara. So very cool. I love that they're doing that. And they're being sold and everything under the Kituo brand. So here's the knife. And we'll do a review and all that good stuff on it. But I wanted to show you. Let me put this back. And this is the last item from the show. Like I said, did not pick up much. And you know, a couple people gave me stuff, which is super kind of them. And this is a button lock. Has a filler tab, so bang, I'm going to be able to flip that over. Didn't even realize that. We have this really cool hardware. Look at that. You have a lanyard post thingy. You have carbon fiber inlays. You have another spot right here that looks cool. It almost feels like it could have the inlay here too. You have a button lock. So this is a button lock. It has a flipper, a front flipper, and a hole. Which they did very well. I mean, it just doesn't look like every other multi-deployment Vosteed thing, right? It's a gnarly looking knife. I mean, look at that freaking choil. That is a choil, guys. And it is comfortable. And your thumb lands right here. Like, they thought this design through. It's very freaking cool. It's comfortable back here. Thumb ramp right here, jimping. Choke up, boom. little poon spoon. Very well thought out, very thin. Comes down to a mean looking blade tip there. A hollow here would have been just insane. But I am very impressed with this. You have the cool logo here. And then you have the gin logo right there. Griffin over here. And let's check the action. That's crazy. Check for play. I mean, I'm wrenching on it. If I just do this, there's not. I mean, maybe the tiniest, but same up and down. Maybe a little. The button is in this sort of pill-shaped thing, which is pretty dang cool. Flipper works. That would be the weakest of the deployments, right? Because it's, you know, the one that requires the most detent. But if you just give it a flick, feels good. Front flipper, fine. Yeah. Let's try the flick. Okay, the flick is nice. So I could definitely, and I'm going to do a review, so I'm going to chill here, but I would definitely strengthen the spring as much as I could if I was them. It's good, and it works great. And you know what? You just kind of have to deal with that with button locks, unfortunately. You have to deal with the nature of it being the spring and everything. And it works great. I can clearly use it very well. I just would love to see it be a little tighter on that. And then you have, I guess, a flathead to, let's see if we can tighten it. Again, I don't want to go crazy here, but I'm just curious. Let's see if I can get this flathead in. Yep. Can't really tighten it. Let's see if I did anything. Oh, yeah, I definitely did. Oh, there. So, still basically dropping shut, which is cool. So, anyway, that's the Griffin. Very, very cool. Excited to do the review on that. I'm going to carry this and use it and see what I think. But I'm digging it big time. Premium stuff here, too, and a premium look. I don't know what the steel is on this. So, I'll find out all that info. They're going to send it to me, which is cool. So, shout out to them. Very cool knife, the Griffin. So, there you go, guys. That's kind of my haul, so to speak, from Blade Show. And I'm very happy with it. So, let me know what you guys think. And thank you all for watching. And anybody who came to the show, thank you. So there's your recap. Love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.